Very excited to be joined by soon-to-be redshirt senior Kain Medrano entering his final year at UCLA. Thanks for taking the time, Kane.
Thank you for having me.
Um, has this been the craziest 3 months of your playing career, just with everything that's gone on since the end of the season? Coach Lynn
Uh,
leaves, Coach Kelly leaves, and then Coach Norton leaves.
yeah, I would for sure say it's probably been the craziest 3 years of my playing career. Coach Lynn had a very close connection with him in the past, just with the defense, him being the DC. Obviously, my connection with Coach Norton is um, like no other. And then Coach Kelly just, being the guy that gave me the chance to come here and give me the opportunity to play at UCLA. So it's been a crazy ride, crazy 3 months for sure.
With all that change, I mean, I know you're an older guy now, so you've kind of seen a lot and you've done that whole
hmm
thing, but still, I mean, the adjustment's got to be huge for you. Like just like trying to wrap your head around it's going to be, Coach Malloy, so it's familiar, but it's going to be a different scheme, at least in some
Yep.
way. Going to be different position coach, going to be a different head coach. I mean,
Yeah.
how's it been just kind of adjusting to that?
I mean, I've done it before, right? Kind of me and my dad had this conversation and he asked the same thing is like how is it adjusting? And I kind of thought of it as I came my freshman year, was on offense, okay, had to switch to defense, right? Um, Lost to DC as in Coach Ass. Then we got another DC, right? And then Coach Pelham left, and then we got Coach Norton. So in my college career, I've had quite a bit of whether it's coaching changes or just changes in general. Um, and I think the main thing that has helped me is just control what you can control. I think that's my day to day motto that I live by. I can't control what happens with the coaching staff, the way their contracts, where they go. Um, but I can control coming in here, working, put my head down, and just getting better. Because at the end of the day, no matter where I'm at, whether I'm here or whether it had been somewhere else, I was still going to do the same thing. I was going to come in and put my head down and work because the ultimate goal is the NFL. So to just add to to just put on top of that, I just control what I can control, and obviously I've been in the talks with Coach Malloy and and Coach Foss, and we've been having a good connection because of the fifth year status and where I'm at with on the team, and so it's been fun, but it's been hectic, and um, I can't wait to see who they bring in here, honestly.
With Coach Norton's departure, I know you guys were close and obviously he
Yeah.
had kind of a mentor role with you. What was his mess? Did you know like that was possibly going to happen? And then second, what was his message to you when he was leaving? I mean, I'm sure he like got in touch with you.
Yeah, I knew it's possible. She's one of the best to do it. So that's always going to be a possibility of going back to coaching in the league. And um, I knew about it kind of right after, not right after the season, but in a way, kind of that December Christmas break. He kind of gave me a call. He's like, "Hey, if you start hearing stuff that I'm interviewing, just kind of, just hold your horses a little bit, and then we can kind of talk when we get back from break." And so that was our conversation. And then when he had finally got closer and stuff started getting more real, probably within, I want to say the last maybe week and a half, we were talking every day. I was sitting there trying to tell him not to go, right? And he's telling me why he wants to go,
Right.
or why he needs to go. And but with him being a mentor, right? It's always great to have somebody in the league that knows you, knows who
Yeah.
you are as a human being, knows your personality, knows your lifestyle, knows how you play, knows how you watch film. I mean, we were in here for a year, right? 2 years. So um, you know, it's nice, right? He told me his main thing was just keep working and I'll go get you, right? That was kind of his main thing is just stay there, put your head down, keep working, and you'll be here, and I'll go get you. That was kind of his message. So
For sure. I mean, with all this change, I mean, obviously the elephant in the room whenever there's a big change is a lot of guys decide, okay, I'm gonna at least take a look around with the transfer portal.
hmm
What made you, I mean, I'm sure that was something, but what made you
yeah.
not do that? What were the like considerations going through the last couple of months? Because you've had two
Um,
opportunities now after the season
yeah,
and then just
and then
now.
yeah, after the season right now, going into it was I was talking to Coach Norton, and the reason why I didn't was because he wasn't too positive that he wanted to go back. He
Right.
wanted to. I think he wanted to stay. That was the message that I got from him. Um, so that's why I didn't. Right. I was like, I want to come back and play one more year for the guy that I've learned more football in, knowing him for a year and a half to 2 years than I have my whole life.
Right.
Right. So I want to come back and play for him. And then with Coach Kelly, you know, it was a thought until Foss was hired. And
Right.
I just know the energy, and I know everything that comes with it, right? And I know what he brings, because at the end of the day, linebackers go against running backs. So
Right.
when we're going against drills and we're doing one-on-ones, we see that energy and we match that energy. And I just knew he was the guy, the right guy. When Coach Kelly came and told us he was leaving, me and Garbs looked at each other and had one thing to say, and it's like, we know who we want. And that's kind of just a credit to the person he is, the energy that he brings, and just the way his mindset is. So
So I got to dive into that because it was kind of incredible. Friday morning, I think you guys had just heard that Coach Kelly was leaving. And then it
yep.
felt like within minutes, many of you had the same message on Twitter or X or whatever
Yeah,
dumb thing
yeah,
we're
Twitter,
calling it.
yeah, whatever
Yeah.
it's called now.
But all of you kind of pushing for Coach Foster. Was that something that you
Hmm.
guys like you said you and Ethan talked about it a little bit, but is that something that you guys kind of said, "Hey, let's do this. Let's try to make this happen."
Yeah, so after Coach Kelly, we got the message about Coach Kelly. He came in and talked to us Friday morning after workouts. Me and Garbs and Jay Toya, we kind of called the team up, right? Just off to the side.
Right.
And we was like, hey, like, look, right? A lot of guys were disappointed on the offensive side that Foss had left, right? And so that message from the offensive side was, we want Foss, right? We want Foss. Let's push for Foss. How can we get him to come back? And alumni, loves the school, would do anything for UCLA. Seems right. Um, and then the defense was like, well, we like that, but we also have Malloy, right? And
Right.
so there was that contradicting, but I think we knew deep down inside, right after we had that little 5-10 minute talk, what the majority wanted, right? And I think we would have been good either way, and it would have been the same energy match. But I'm just ecstatic that we had got Fox to come back home, and be the guy that we need. I think this program needs this, um, and I just can't wait.
There was a lot. I want to get into Coach Foster in a second, but just get a little
Yeah.
bit more backstory because there was a lot of noise around Coach Kelly basically from the beginning of January on that he was looking
Hmm.
around. What does that do for the team? Like, what was like kind of morale? And then when he announced that he was leaving well, I don't even know if he told you where he was going at that point, but when he announced that he was leaving, how was that doing with everyone's mindset over the last month or so of his tenure?
It was a little rocky because you had a lot of guys that just got here, so they just talked to
Right.
Coach Kelly, right? So they were kind of like, whoa, like, at least was there a conversation in the recruiting process of, hey, look, I'm trying to, or I might be going somewhere else, so in that headspace of, it was a little rocky, but it was it was more so on us. We had to pull the team together, right? Because at the end of the day, Coach Kelly doesn't play the game. We play the
Right.
game, right? So if we want to win games, we want to do this, we have to come in here and work. And so I think that was our main motto with Coach KB and like the strength staff, and then your captains, right, on the team. We're just trying to gather everybody and just be strong through the whole process. And let's just, like, my thing was, I tell them, every control what you can control. Like, when I tell you, that's my main motto for like this whole thing, is just because at the end of the day, we can't control where he goes, we can't control where he looks. All we can control is coming in here, being with our brothers and the guys that want to be here, and just working. And we did that, and you see, we haven't lost not one person to the portal. You know what I'm saying, through the whole
Yeah.
thing, right? So I think that just goes to say kind of what we have on this team and the brotherhood that we have, and the connection that we can come together and be bonded like that and get through, the tough situations.
So I want to get into Coach Foster because it's so unique for a guy who was a running backs coach for the most part. I mean, I know he had some other roles, but for a guy who was a running
Yeah.
backs coach to have that kind of not even just some popularity on the defense, but broad popularity on offense. A lot of
hmm
guys pushing for him. What is it that makes him so unique? What makes him such a popular figure on the team and somebody that you guys were willing to kind of all get behind, or at least many of you get behind?
Um, because I think we just knew what he wanted, right? Because like at the end of the day, he would preach to his running back group, right? This is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. And then I was close with him when I was on the offensive side of the ball, right? And so that relationship has always been there. And he would always call me over and be like, look, you know what I'm saying? We gotta step it up. We want to win games, you know what I'm saying? So he's another role model and mentor
Right.
in my eyes. And so just knowing what he's done for the game of football, how he coaches, how he is, how he act, just how he goes about himself, carries himself around the building. It just kind of just made sense, right? It's like this is the guy in my mind that you want to lead, that you would want to lead a bunch of young men, right? 20 to 23, whatever,
Right.
the age is, right? And it's just somebody that I respect so much and just, you know, he's played in the Rose Bowl. He's played, you know what I'm saying? He's
Yeah.
played in the Super Bowl, right? That carries weight. You know what I'm saying? And so everybody just kind of knew, regardless if you had a connection or if he was a mentor to you, you just knew who he was as a person and what he wanted. And so I mean it was kind of easy.
From like I mean it's basically been what, a week and a couple of days since
Mm-hmm.
he took
Yep.
over. Have you noticed any changes at this point? Is it kind of, I mean, I know there's a lot of continuity from not only coaching staff but obviously a bunch of you players back. Have you guys just kind of tried to kind of stay the course, or have there been changes? Has there been anything different with the offseason program?
No, we've stayed the course. We're still, doing our same workout thing. And that was kind of our big thing is like, let's just stay on this schedule and then
Right.
we'll figure it out when we come back from spring break. What the new thing is, because we didn't want to, make it open gym or whatever and people not showing up. So we just stayed the course and we're going to continue to stay the course. He's handling his interviews to fill the coaching spots right now. But we just come in here and work and hey, I mean, we've had a couple team meetings and he just kind of talking about what he wants from us and how he wants discipline, respect, and enthusiasm, right? And and those are his pillars, and that's what this team is gonna go by. And you can see a lot of enthusiasm out there on the training field. Just a lot of fun going around, and
Right.
it's a great time.
You mentioned, I mean, no new transfers out, which is, I mean, it's pretty stunning when you look at what happens basically everywhere else where there's a major coaching change.
hmm
Has this been almost team led? Like, have been there been a lot of you guys like saying, "Hey, we got to stick together, we got to band together, we got to try to make this happen."
Yeah, that's basically what it's been all this whole off season is basically team led. We got we chose the team as a whole, chose their captains, and those are the guys that are we're the guys that are pulling the team together and just rallying them every day. A lot of the stuff goes through our captains for this off season, right? So our strength coach is talking to us and we're talking to them, and so it's more we're getting to that player led, team, player led team type of thing where the players are, hey, we're doing this today at this time. It's not coming from a coach, right? And that is where I think our connection is just getting tighter and tighter, and we're just bonding as a whole squad. So
So we're doing this through Men of Westwood. The
yes,
NIL
sir.
Collective obviously set this up. Can you just kind of shed some light, I think, for everyone on, because people think, oh, players getting paid, but like, can you talk about the significance of like NIL and what it can mean for guys on the team, and how much that can impact things for them?
Yeah. NIL, it's a crazy space to be in, right? It's a different world. There's still a lot of unknown. But we're figuring it out and we're taking this step at a time. But the Minna Westwood is huge. It helps out a lot. On the fact of, I'll just say that's where we're at now, right? Is you got to have a little bit of money to throw to be able to get 5 stars or to be able to get the guys that you want. And it's just the world we live in. And, so having the Minna Westwood and having this set up and getting onto the right track and being, at the forefront of this thing, I think it's just more so to make sure that the players feel comfortable. I think that's my biggest thing, right? A lot of guys gotta, send pay car notes or pay phone bills, right? Or
Right.
do this stuff, and with no NIL money coming in or no money coming in at all, how can you do that?
Right.
Right? Or they gotta send money to back home to their sister or their mom or their brother, whoever it is, right? Um and it's hard. It's hard when you don't got the money to come in and you got people asking for money, right? So the men of Westwood and what they have going on that end is gonna be tremendous help to the team and the tremendous help to getting the key pieces that we need to finish putting this team together.
When you're, because you take part in official visits and stuff from guys
Yes,
coming
sir.
in, and obviously
Uh-huh.
you've probably talked with teammates about, are you thinking about going in the portal and like that sort of stuff?
Yep.
How much is NIL the factor for a lot of these decisions that get made? Not only where you commit to, but like a decision to stay or leave a program.
I want to say it is a lot from what I've heard. But not necessarily the guys that I've talked to, right?
Sure.
Because there's a couple guys that I've talked to and they just want to be on the field, and
Right.
and then so come they hit the portal and then they get offered. They're now NIL starting to come up, right? But they weren't getting NIL at the school that they were at before, and they don't really care. They just want to play football.
Got it.
But um, you know, yeah, it's it has a lot to do with it, right? Because you got a lot of these guys that are getting offered a lot of money at multiple big schools, and so then it comes to, okay, are you off? Who's am I getting more here? What else am I getting on top of this, right? Do I get a better coach here or here? Right. Me personally, I'm more so worried about the coaching connections. How can I learn from you, right? That type of thing more so than the money. Everything else has to do involved with it. And I think a lot of the guys here are kind of the same way, right? They just love the energy and the atmosphere that is going on right now. And so we just want to play football.
Yeah, for sure. And then I mean, going into your last year,
Yeah.
what's kind of the? I'm sure it hasn't fully hit you yet, but like,
hmm
how are the emotions going into this and knowing this is kind of the last go round in college and last go round at UCLA?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it hasn't fully hit yet. But just being considered a captain on the team and the guy that the people look up to, whether it's a role model or whether that is a team leader, and you need to come talk to me for whatever it is. That is kind of what is starting to open my eyes, because that is never. I mean, I haven't been in that role since probably senior year of high school, right? So it's been now a whole new career, and I'm back at that position, and I love it. I really do. I love being somebody that the guys can count on and they can come talk to me whenever. And just I think I think I'm a leader, and I think that's why they chose me, and I want to show the guys that. But um, you know, I'm sure it's going to be flooded with emotions come spring ball, like it's my last spring ball, right? Come fall ball, it's my last fall ball. Now we're in game one's done. That's my last game one of college. You know what I'm saying? So I think as we get closer and closer and closer, the feelings and emotions are going to start taking over. But at the end of the day, I just want to go in there and do the best I can. Try and get to where my goal since I was a little child, and so it's gonna be a surreal moment, to get to that point where I might be playing my last game in the Rose Bowl. You know what I'm saying, or my last away game, or even my last spring ball practice. It's gonna be a surreal moment for sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, Kain Medrano, take no more of your time. Really appreciate you
Thank
taking the time
you.
to
I
speak with me.
appreciate you guys.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you
Talk to you
guys.
soon.
God bless. Yep. Have a good one.